So today I'm going to tell you about Visible Body and how to use it. So when you go into the course Blackboard page, you'll see that there's a textbook tab. And in that textbook information tab, there's a link to Visible Body. So you can go ahead and click on that link to get started with Visible Body. When you click on the link, it's going to take you to a registration page where you're going to enter in all of your information. You want to enter in the exact information that you provided Gateway when you registered for the class. That way, your instructor kind of knows that it's you and it matches the information in the gradebook in Blackboard. So once you're registered, it's going to ask you to enter an access code. You can either purchase the access code right there directly in Visible Body, or you can purchase the access code through the bookstore, through Gateway's bookstore, and then they will mail you the access code and then you can enter it in. Either way, you're going to have to purchase an access code for Visible Body in order to use it. Once you get into Visible Body, this is what the course is going to look like. There's no Visible Body component for the first week, and that's intentional because sometimes it takes students a little bit to get the access code, so we don't worry about Visible Body for the first week, and there's not really a lot of content in Visible Body that's specific to the first week. But then you see that every other week has something in here, so there's lab assignments for every week. When you complete lab assignments in my course, you're going to be completing a couple different things. So you're going to be completing the lab assignments in Blackboard, and you're also going to be completing the lab assignments in Visible Body. So this section is just talking about how to complete the lab reports in Visible Body. I will be posting a welcome video where you can learn about how to submit lab reports through Blackboard. So when you look at Visible Body, you can see it's broken down by organ system, which corresponds to all the different labs that we have in the course. I'm just going to look at one of the labs here. So we'll look at Lab 9, for example. Each lab is structured in a very similar way, where you have the information, the dissection, the practice quiz, and the graded quiz. When you click on the information, you're going to see sections, and these sections are like chapters in a textbook. So when you click on one of them, it's going to take you to the Visible Body app, the Anatomy and Physiology app. So here's the app, what it looks like, and then you will be able to access it. It does take a couple minutes to load, so we'll just hang out a minute for it to load, and here it is. So you can see that there's all different types of information here, and you can choose what information you would like to listen to at that time, but what is actually assigned is the stuff that's listed here. So 27, 29, and 30 are assigned for this section. So in 27, it starts with a video, so you can click on that, you can watch the video, and you'll be able to see this video moving, and it's really informational. And then this is the script of what's going on in the video. So it gives you a couple different options there, and you can just click through the module to learn all of the information. Now this is like a textbook, but it contains videos, so it's kind of an interactive textbook. So you can read it, you can take notes on it, and learn it, and there's a main menu button if you want to go back to the main menu. So if we close out of this app, and we go back, and I'm going to go back into Lab 9. Now I'm going to go into the dissection. So in the dissection, we've got a bunch of different options here. So you can dissect the entire circulatory system, or you can focus in on the location of the heart, the carotid and jugular, the heart section, the structure of a blood vessel. So I'm going to go to the heart section, and this is going to open up the Anatomy Atlas app. So Anatomy Atlas is like a virtual dissection. It allows you to remove parts, move parts around, and you can see Human Anatomy Atlas is now launching. So we'll wait a couple minutes for this to launch. And it takes you directly to the section that I was hoping that you would look at. So you can use fingers to make this bigger. You can also use the plus key, and on your keyboard you can rotate it, move it around, and look at the different parts on the model here. When you click on a part, this comes up and it tells you what it is, and it will say it out loud for you so you can listen to it out loud. You can, or how it's pronounced, you can listen to pathologies about it, so it'll give you a little description of different diseases associated with that area, and then you can read about it. So if you click on the definition, you can read everything about it. You can fade that part, hide that part, and that'll make it go away. And you can also undo that. You can dissect certain parts. So if you want to see what it looks like without that, you can dissect it away, and now you can see behind it. And then if you go to the history and you want to undo that, you can go undo, and it comes right back. You can multi-select, where you select multiple parts, but anytime you select a part, you can learn more about it. So you always want to unclick these before you start selecting another thing, because as long as this is highlighted, it's going to keep dissecting away. So you can unclick it, and that'll put that scalpel down, and then you can look at what all of these different parts are. There's different types of views. You can save the views. You can download images from here, and that can help you take notes. There's an annotate button where you can take notes on certain parts, and then you can print those notes later. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. For the purpose of this course, I really just want you to get in here and figure out what all of these parts are. Click on them, learn what they are, and then if you're interested in doing more, you can always do some dissections and dissect away some materials, but it's really important that you do that. You can always go back to the main menu, and the main menu has different regions here, so you can do a regional view, you can do a system view, a gross anatomy lab, cross sections, microanatomy, muscle sections. But when you go into the visible body course, these are all of the parts that I want you to take a look at. So rather than having to search through all those different images and figure out what to look at, these are the parts that I'd like you to take a look at. And you can spend as much or as little time as you want reviewing those parts. And then you can click back. And now we'll talk about the next section, practice quizzes. So practice quizzes are just that. They're going to allow you to practice the material. So if you go to the heart dissection, it's going to open up an app. So we're going to open up the Anatomy and Physiology app and give that a couple minutes to load. And select the left atrium. So the left atrium is over here, and I'm going to click submit, and it says correct. And then I can go to the next question. Select the right ventricle. So right ventricle is over here. There we go. And it might take you a couple clicks to get to the right thing, but submit, and it says correct. So it will give you a question up here, and then you can practice identifying the different parts on the heart. Practice is not graded. When we go back and look at the next part, we get to the graded quizzes. Graded quizzes are for sure graded. Graded quizzes will count as your only grade item in visible body. So this is the only thing that visible body actually grades, is your graded quiz. So you can spend as much or as little time as you want on everything else, but that other stuff is really to help you prepare for these graded quizzes. The graded quizzes do have unlimited attempts. So if you try it and you do really bad, go back and practice some more and then retake the graded quiz. And you can take it as many times as you need to in order to get a perfect score on that. The graded quizzes are very similar to the practice quizzes, so it gives you a lot of opportunities to practice. So I'm going back to the student preview. If you want to ever look at your apps, you can just click on My Apps. And here's all the different apps associated with this. And then mobile apps, if you're ready to download some mobile apps, these are the directions for how to get them on your mobile devices. So if you want to download these apps on your smart devices, you can follow these directions and then go from there. And then here's some links, and the username and password to access them are going to be unique to each student. So if you take a look at that, you'll be able to access those on your mobile devices. And you have the Anatomy and Physiology app, and this is the app that's similar to a textbook. You have Human Anatomy Atlas, and that's going to be the virtual dissection tools. Physiology and Pathology gives you information about diseases that would really come in handy in your future courses if you're headed into the medical field. Being able to reference all those pathologies is going to be helpful. Muscle Premium is really for physical therapy assistants and people that are going to work in the field of kinesiology, that's studying the body movements and muscles for physical therapy type activities. Physiology animations are going to be a combination of all the different animations that are in the textbook. So it really tells you about how the different parts of the body work. All of these apps can be downloaded on your devices, and these are lifetime access. So when you lose access to the courseware, you're still going to have access to all these apps forever. So once you get into your programs, you'll be able to reference these again. So hopefully that made some sense, and it helps you figure out how to navigate through Visible Body. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me.